Right, a new day. Now we have daylight. Okay, I'm going to finish the ceiling, and the next cut is the U-cut. So I'm going to set up the tools and get going. Okay, so plans change, and we're actually removing plastic guards. We're going to angle the ceiling on the corners. I'll film it in a minute. I have said plans change, and this is a new development that's just happening. Let me turn the camera around. Okay, so one thing that's sort of annoying is this part here, and I was going to carpet it. Obviously this is going to be carpeted as well, but now the ceiling's going up, I had the idea of curving it. And if you look over here, we've got a protective guard, and I thought that had to stay, but I've just pulled it out and routed the cable above the ceiling. And so now I think we're actually going to curve this in some fashion, and we're just trying to figure out how to fix it and mount it. But I think that that's going to look way better than just actually carpeting the top. Anyway, grab yourself a coffee. Basically, routing cables and hiding them. So let me just show you what we've just been up to. Okay, so here we've got a cable guard and for the electrics, and it's covering it and cable tied in. And the cables were actually coming over the actual metal brackets. And obviously we don't want to see that. So basically, say hello. Hello, 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 hello. We're gonna, like I've just shown, we're gonna angle it down so it comes here. All these cables were in the way, so they're actually hidden. So here is a good tip. When you're actually unscrewing these hex heads, if you open the door, then there is no weight, and then you can unscrew this and then pull it down and then push it behind. Top tip of the day, I believe that is. Loads of messing around. The concern of this was having cables and pipes, and not pipes, but protective armoured piping to protect the cables, and they were all going to be showing out the back, and it was going to be a serious drag, so an ugly, and we don't want an ugly van, do we, Mum? And basically, let me turn the camera around to show you what we've been doing. I've ripped off the plastic guards off of the cabling, and I fed them underneath these slats, which is temporarily held in. This one's permanent, and now that's going to be hidden, and this is up in the corner at the minute. This isn't an issue because I'll show you, but this, I've had to feed this through and pull out some slack and jigsaw off the corner here. And now, because we're going to angle like that side down there to make it look curved, basically when this is actually coming across, this will literally hide all of this. And then it's just going to be a luscious and delicious finish. Speaking of luscious and delicious, I'm rather parched, so I'm going to have a coffee. So I'm going to glue these little back bits on, timber bits, with some fast fitting epoxy. So I have to be quick, this is going to go off, but the camera's in a weird position because I don't know where else to put it right now. Anyway. Okay, so up here we have this mahogany back support that screws in, but it's not fixed to anything in the corner, which we're going to need. So I've just actually glued it on, and we're going to actually, using the dead man, we're going to actually see if that actually takes. And if not, then, well, I don't know, we'll have to think of something else, but hopefully that should work. Right, we're basically fixing some support beams, I guess you would call it, so we can actually get these angled bits of ceiling or cladding up there. So have a look at this. We've just actually screwed these self-tapping screws into here, and this is now angled. So when we actually have this angled piece, this is going to fit nicely flush with that. And then this piece here is going to, it's hard to hold. There's going to be a second piece there that drops down, and we're going to cut in another piece here. Totally forgot to let the camera roll with that one, so we'll record this next bit, I guess. Finally got a good camera. A very fiddly job so far, but we've basically curved this round. So let's have a little look at this. I think that is shaping up rather nicely. About to actually cut this other U shape in, and also instead of just countersinking any of the screws, I'm going to actually use stainless steel washers to actually make this look nice. I've already just started putting some in here. I think it'll make them look like a bit of a feature. So I'm going to put those in a bit. I just want to cut this U-shape bit in first because that's the next awkward cut. And as you can see, we've now got a bracing point on the side that's angled, ready for the other angle. Slightly bends out a bit. I need to glue a little bit in there. I just can't help the shape of the van, but I think that is a lot nicer doing that and covers everything up. and obviously the pipes you can't see, and you won't be able to see those either now because pulled them all and put them above all the, I don't know, the slats, I guess you would call them. And well, yes, I guess it's time to just carry on getting the next fiddly bit in. Honestly, this takes quite a lot of time to actually get right. I'm going to cut the light holes in as well, or the first one there. Actually, we better talk about that now. So obviously I've marked where the lighting cables are going, where they are, and basically I just need to decide where I actually want the first one to be. Once I've got the first one, which is going to be dead center of the actual air light, the skylight or whatever, the portal, then we've basically have a line to go off and put one roughly in here, wherever I've marked where the cable is, but it would be exactly square off that, and I'll cut the next one in, and then that means that I've got measurements for the ones on this side. But first things first, let's get the U-shape cut in. Oh god, my knees. As you could probably gather, it's a little bit of a nightmare actually doing a ceiling. I'm trying my best to cover some angles with this stuff. Right, here we go. Oh my god, you can see the curve. Oh, this is shaping up. Oh, right, so we've got this, we're working on this side now. Anyway, let's get back to this. As you can probably guess, a lot of messing around has been going on, fiddly bits trying to get this up, and I actually cocked up one of the bits, which means I can't finish it, and I have to go and get some more, or I might use offcuts in a minute. It depends whether it actually looks good or not. If I can use offcuts, then we can finish it. Let me show you what we've been up to, just looking at things. It's all starting to shape up. You can literally see the curve. Here's a cut that I messed up, otherwise that would literally be going along that edge there. As you can see, some of the we've got like some washers. They're not all in yet, but this is going to be a nice little finishing touch instead of them just being countersunk. One thing that we're literally about to do is cut the actual LED light holes into the ceiling, which I'm very excited about because it's going to start actually looking like an actual ceiling. Obviously, we're using some cutter tools. I think they're called hole saws, and we've got our first one actually cut in. Now, how this is working is that this is dead center of the actual portal, as I keep calling it, and basically decided to actually go in the center of a board that just looks center instead of actually measuring it bang on and going through 2 boards, because that might, well, be a recipe for disaster. Anyway, now the hole's there, you can see that there's enough slack here because I've marked it out to actually bring out the wiring and the chocker blocks. So that's how this will be another video for connecting those, I think. But you connect the LEDs to these and then tuck this up, put the LED lights in and screw them in, and then job done. And so there are going to be 6 lights. There's going to be one there, and well, I've marked them out quite kind of roughly. We'll measure them in a minute, but that's one thing that we're about to do. And it's time for a coffee. Before we actually have a coffee, here is a top tip when actually cutting holes, right? Don't put the ceiling up and then go straight in and cut with one of these. Get a bit of scrap wood first and actually, obviously measure it up. They come in different sizes, and obviously the downlighters that I bought are not the actual, like, none of the cutters are the same size as the downlighters. So you have to have a mess around. Here is a bit of scrap wood. And, you can just try them out. And then once you've got one that actually fits, because if you make it too big, you can't screw them in. It goes over there's no plywood or whatever you're actually going into to actually screw into. So mock up first, otherwise you will just go in the ceiling and go, right, we're doing the ceiling again then. Anyway, I think that's a nice tip. Time to drill the holes in the ceiling for the lights. All right, here we go. It's about time someone else did the work. Right, so this is one of the lights. This is designed for boats and vans, and very low output, 2 watts. However, we'll do a video on this later. Like a glove. Fits perfectly. That's good.
Believe it or not,
have to make that the same down there.
yeah, that one's the same up there, and we're still marked in the centre.
That's okay, they match.
That's fine.
I would drill them myself. I'm not being lazy or anything, but Okay, that is the left-hand side LED light holes in, and we've put them in just to test. And now it's time to do the other side. And basically, let me just show you how I have measured them in, just so they're of equal size. Okay, so I've taken off the center line here on the magic air portal, vent hole or whatever the fuck it is. And obviously this isn't exactly symmetrical on either side, it's slightly off. And where this is in, say, a half board, a full board, and say the second actual board, here you've got half first and second, and it's a little bit too far over, and actually the line is here if it's going to be exactly right to that, so have to compromise here and either choose there or there. And basically I'm thinking, because this is going to be over a bed, so you have a reading light, I'm going to choose this board here. So I've measured off that 4 centimeters, and then I've taken another measurement using these lines here, or this line I should say, and that's 22 centimeters to match that one there from that line. And then 22 centimeters from this, and then 22 centimeters from the edge here, and 4 centimeters in, and that will mirror that. And that is how it's done. Famous last words. That's how we're doing it, and hopefully these holes are going nicely in a second. Anyway. It's actually another day. So far this is the 4th day to get the ceiling done. First day was brace it and everything. Second day I broke the back of it. Third day got to the point of drilling holes, and it would have been finished if I hadn't cocked up one of the cuts. So I've just gone and bought a pack, obviously of 5, because you can't buy them loose. So there's going to be spares, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to actually finish the cladding and the curve, and then we'll have I think then a separate video. It'll be a little video on the electrics and putting the lights in and checking it all and explaining how that works and stuff. But yeah, this is exciting. And I'm not going to have a coffee just to mix it up. I'm going to have a cider. Right then, let's do this before I get drunk. That was a bit of a faff, but hey, here we are. It's going to be incredibly hard to match this because there has to be a cut on one side or the other, but basically here's the next piece, and I've got 2 fixings in, zoom in, there, and I've marked the other holes. I haven't got enough stainless steel washers at the minute to do all of these yet, so I'm just borrowing them from other places that aren't too critical. I haven't done this end piece yet. I was just doing this end piece, but unscrewed it because basically the deliberate mistake of the day was the fact that I was blocking it too far out, and this needs to actually, well, it needs to mirror that. So this needs to go into there, and this is going to be a bit of a pain because obviously I've got to get another piece in now to mirror this. However, it's not going to be a full piece. It's not going to be a full actual width. So I'm going to have to kind of work out using an offcut how it sits and then kind of measure it so it matches a little bit. I mean, this curves because the van's curved, so I have no idea how this is going to look in a minute. I doubt it's going to be completely symmetrical, but the point is going to be that will be up there. Now, I could screw that or fix it. However, when you do that, it's so difficult to get the last piece in because it's got to bend and have a bit of flex, and even doing up this middle bit here is a bit of a pain in the ass, so I may have to unscrew that as well. However, we're on the final hurdle with this now, and I don't know about you, but I feel like I deserve another drink, so I'm going to pour one and peruse my mind as I actually figure out this last one. We're getting there. Why is the sky white? You know, I said to be careful with these things. They can break. Oh, I think I'm at 180 BPM now. My heart is going. There was trouble in paradise then. Basically, I broke a few drill bits inside the hole and there's not much to, there's only certain places you can drill into, and that's always a pain in the ass to pull out. However, I've pulled them out and I have, let's flick the camera, managed to fix it up. Okay, so to say that the ceiling is finished is not completely true because it's not. Basically, I've run out of stainless steel washers, and I've borrowed some out of various places just to actually hold these up. This is not exactly symmetrical to this side, and there are a few reasons for that. Basically, you've got to have a cut on one of the sides. I referred to bathroom tiling earlier. It's just, there's no way around this. And the shape is also not completely symmetrical. It's kind of weirdly shaped. So it is what it is, basically. And although I've got like 4 screws here and they are measured from the bottom, but well, you've only got a certain place you can actually drill into to actually have it secure. Yeah, it gets to a desperate point where you go, oh, I don't want to keep drilling holes. So I've actually put 3 in, and I actually put 1 above it there to fix it. However, that will look okay. By the time I've put these 2 in, I've broken the metal drill bits that I've got, as in drill bits that go through metal. And that really needs that to happen there. And this can be a long, I don't want to screw that in until that's fixed. Otherwise you start snapping this stuff and that would just be a fake one. Then I'm going to actually put a bit of mahogany along the edge here. Tidy it up. I mean, we like a bit of mahogany, don't we? I mean, it's very posh. And speaking of mahogany, actually, something else that will finish this off, I'm going to put a mahogany strip to cover up. Actually, let's go to the front of the van just to show that. Okay, so here's the front, and you can see it's not fixed yet. So I've realised yesterday how I'm going to fix this instead of screwing it, and the chance of it snapping would be so high. So I'm going to actually use a strip of mahogany, make it all look nice, and it will go over the top of this metal, and then it will go probably to there, and it will screw into the metal, and it will hold this up naturally, and that will just finish it off and make it look really nice. So next video is going to be about lights, putting the lighting in and talking a little bit about the electrics and the power pack that we're going to use. And hopefully I've not drilled through any wiring, otherwise this whole thing is going to come down. Positive thoughts. Yeah, okay, that wraps this video up, and go on, treat yourself, have a coffee or a drink.